Almost everyone calls it a Schmeisser, but Hugo Schmeisser himself had nothing to do with the creation of the MP40. It was one of the greatest marketing errors in history. The true father of the MP40 was Heinrich Vollmer. The confusion arose because Schmeisser held the patent for the magazine, and his name appeared on the stampings. The MP40 was created as a radical response to old concepts. Instead of heavy wood and expensive milling, the Germans received a futuristic machine made of stamped steel and plastic. This weapon was not intended for trench warfare in the mud. It was designed for the elite, paratroopers, tankers, and blitzkrieg assault groups. It became the world's first mass-produced submachine gun without a wooden stock, making its silhouette a recognizable symbol of the German war machine. The weapon that became the cinematic face of the Wehrmacht was, in reality, a triumph of manufacturability over tradition. The Germans chose a cartridge that remains the most popular in the world 80 years later, and the MP40 unlocked its maximum potential. The 9x19mm caliber provided a perfect balance. It was powerful enough to stop an opponent with a single hit, yet offered soft recoil. In the MP40, this cartridge worked in tandem with a heavy bolt, allowing it to squeeze out maximum energy while maintaining stability. This was no lead spitter. At short distances up to 50 to 70 meters, the 9mm bullet possessed colossal stopping power, literally knocking the enemy off their feet. While other countries experimented with calibers, Germany bet on the parabellum and did not lose. The strange protrusion under the MP40 barrel is not a design flourish, but a vital detail for those firing from a moving armored personnel carrier. The 248mm barrel had 6 right-hand grooves, but its main feature was the aluminum or Bakelite resting bar rail underneath. Why? When firing from narrow embrasures of armored vehicles, the barrel tended to jump inside due to vibration and recoil, which could lead to tragedy in a cramped troop compartment. This hook caught onto the edge of the armor, securely fixing the weapon. This made the MP40 an ideal tool for mobile warfare, where fire was conducted directly from wheels or armor, an engineering detail that turned an ordinary submachine gun into a specialized weapon for the crews of steel monsters. In 1940, the MP40 looked like a visitor from the distant future. Not a gram of wood, only steel and the world's first combat plastic. The MP40 became a symbol of the transition to total war, where production speed was more important than aesthetics. Bakelite, an early type of plastic, was used for the finish. Unlike the wooden stocks of the PPSH or Thompson, it did not rot, absorb moisture, or warp. The main parts were manufactured by stamping sheet steel with a deep black bluing. This allowed the Germans to stamp out the weapon in huge numbers while maintaining its phenomenal lightness and modern, aggressive look. While enemies were carving stocks from wood, the Germans began the era of polymer and stamped weapons. The world's first mass-produced folding stock turned a full-sized weapon into a compact bundle that did not interfere even in a cramped tank cabin. The steel stock of the MP40 folded down and forward, fitting tightly against the receiver. Most importantly, when folded, it did not obstruct the controls, and the 40 could be fired effectively pistol-style. This was a lifesaver for paratroopers during jumps and for tankers in narrow hatches. When unfolded, it provided a solid shoulder support, allowing for engagement at distances unreachable by a standard pistol. This solution set the standard for all modern submachine guns for decades to come. The grip angle of the MP40 is calculated so that you can shower the enemy with lead without even raising the weapon to your eyes. The pistol grip with Bakelite panels has a specific rake. It was designed for instinctive point shooting from the hip, the primary tactical technique for assault groups in close combat. The weapon sits so naturally in the hand that the direction of the barrel becomes an extension of the index finger. This allowed the soldier to react instantly to a sudden threat in a trench or doorway, without wasting seconds on a full aim. The MP40 was built for aggressive pressure, where the speed of the draw decided who walked out of the room alive. Inside the MP40 is hidden a system of tubes that works like the shock absorber of a luxury car, making the shooting incredibly smooth. The recoil spring of the MP40 is enclosed in 3 steel telescopic tubes. This ingenious solution killed 2 birds with 1 stone. First, the spring was completely protected from dust and dirt. Second, the air inside the tubes acted as a pneumatic damper during the bolt's recoil, softening the impact in the rear position. It was this system that made the mechanical operation so intelligent, without the sharp jolts and excessive vibrations characteristic of simpler systems. A technological complexity that gave the MP40 its legendary smoothness of operation. The MP40 has no fire selector, but an experienced shooter doesn't need one. You can fire single shots simply by relaxing your finger. Due to the heavy bolt and telescopic damper, the MP40 has a very low rate of fire by SMG standards, only 400 rounds per minute. For comparison, the PPSH spat out 900. Such a low speed allowed the shooter to easily control every shot. By pulling the trigger for just a moment, a soldier could easily squeeze off a single round or a short double tap. This saved scarce ammunition and allowed for very precise, calculated fire in automatic mode. In a world where everyone chased rate of fire, the MP40 won through cold-blooded control. To put the MP40 on safe, you literally had to drive the charging handle into a dead end. The classic MP40 lacked a separate safety lever. Instead, there was an L-shaped notch on the receiver. To secure the weapon, the shooter pulled the bolt back and rotated the handle into this slot. Later, due to incidents of accidental discharge when dropped, where the heavy bolt's inertia would carry it back far enough to chamber a round, an additional sliding catch was introduced on the handle itself to lock it in the forward position. It was a crude but clear mechanic. If the handle was in the notch, it wouldn't fire. A Spartan solution that demanded discipline from the soldier but worked without fail. At a speed of 380 meters per second, the MP40 bullet didn't just fly, it carried a crushing momentum for close-quarters combat. A muzzle velocity slightly above the speed of sound made the MP40 ideal for dagger thrust distances. The heavy 9mm parabellum bullet possessed excellent stopping power. Unlike high-velocity rifle rounds that could whistle straight through a target, the MP40 bullet dumped all its energy into the opponent's body. At ranges up to 100 meters, it was a formidable weapon that left no chance upon a direct hit to the torso. It wasn't a sniper rifle, it was a lead fist designed for clearing spaces. With the MP40, you could paint bursts onto a target while holding the barrel with one hand. The recoil here was softer than that of some modern pistols. The low rate of fire combined with the pneumatic damper turned the recoil into a smooth sway. The muzzle barely climbed, allowing the shooter to literally write bursts into the target. Unlike the Thompson, which tended to buck out of one's hands, the MP40 remained obedient. Soldiers could maintain aimed fire in long bursts without fearing that the final rounds would disappear into the sky. Legendary controllability that made this submachine gun the benchmark for combat comfort. The weakest part of the MP40 was its magazine, which could turn a formidable weapon into a useless piece of iron if you held it incorrectly. The straight 32-round magazine was the primary issue. Architecturally, it transitioned cartridges from two columns into a single row at the feed lips, creating immense friction and sensitivity to dirt. However, the soldier's main mistake was using the magazine as a forward vertical grip. Holding it this way inevitably tilted the magazine in the magwell, leading to a failure to feed and a jammed gun. Manuals strictly forbade grabbing the magazine, instructing to hold the weapon only by the magazine housing or the handguard. But this was often forgotten in the heat of battle. One wrong handhold could cost the life of the owner of the most advanced weapon of its time.